Hello everyone! Today I'm here with my friend Evgenia, and she is Russian. Since, there's the World Cup coming up, I thought, well, we can actually have a chat about North Americans and Latin Americans and Europeans or everybody just actually going to Russia to visit. Evgenia turns out to be like a very worldly person, and she's very open to other nationalities. She is an incredible polyglot. She speaks Spanish fluently, she speaks Chinese, French, English, and and you guys should actually check out her page and her Instagram, which I'm gonna leave in the description. So I'm gonna ask her a few questions about Russia, especially because of course not everybody in any country is gonna be as worldly as her. So let's say that someone from Brazil or someone from North America goes to Russia. What would you say would be the biggest differences, like culturally? So, what are your thoughts, Evgenia?
Hi everyone. My name is Evgenia or Evgenia, and I'm from Russia. I actually grew up there, so I spent over 20 years of my life in Russia, and now about 7 years of my life in Canada. So I kind of can compare different cultures,
Nice.
and I am open to all of them. And so what I can say to you is, as you all know, there is a stereotype that Russians are very, very cold and very strict like this, right? That we just walk with these poker faces and we don't have emotions. It's not true actually. It's just the way we are used to behaving. I'm kind of an exception. I don't really do that. However, people do this, and I even had a little bit of problems in Russia when I was smiling too much.
Okay.
So if you go to Russia, be friendly, yes, but don't be too friendly. Because I know that in Latin American culture or in Brazilian culture, you guys are very warm-hearted people, right? So it's very common to hug each other, to just be very touchy, and just laugh and smile a lot. However, in Russia, people may take it in a wrong way,
Okay.
so be careful with that. Be very polite, friendly, smile, but don't get all very huggy from the beginning. They may
Yeah.
misunderstand you, really, especially if you are just going towards a man and hugging him, and you're a man,
That may
I
not
don't
work
know.
well, I think.
may go not the way you expected, then you may have to spend that day in a different way than you actually expected. However, actually, I believe that we are very similar in our hearts, because Russians, we are actually warm-hearted people.
Yeah,
Believe
I
me
agree.
or not, right?
No, yeah, I fully agree. I have a lot of Russian friends, you included, of course. In my opinion, Russian people are quite passionate. Maybe they're not openly passionate initially, right? You won't go around, Russians won't go around hugging everybody or kissing them on the cheek all the time, but with some exceptions, of course. But deep down, many Russians that I've met are quite friendly, quite warm, and the stereotype, in my opinion, is a little bit wrong. Russians aren't cold; they're very warm-hearted people. So now let's look at also from a North American perspective. Do you find that, for example, let's say an American or a Canadian goes to Russia, what are some of the things that they may come across, maybe culturally, that they will find different or perhaps strange? Because of course, Canadians I don't like generalizing, but Canadians tend to be a little bit shyer. We're friendly people, but we're a little bit shyer, I think. And I'm more Brazilian that way, at least in my eyes. But Americans can be, of course, friendly too and open. Not necessarily as huggy as Brazilians or Latin Americans, I would say. So, what are your thoughts in this regard?
Okay, in Canada, people always say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Everyone is super polite, and the thing is, if they kick you, they say, I'm sorry. If you kick them, sometimes they still say, I'm sorry. And I'm so used to it right now here, that I also say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. When I went to Russia, the last time, it was maybe 3 years ago, and I was waiting for my luggage. I was actually kind of subconsciously expecting that the people would be polite and they would be sorry, and they would let me go first. No. They won't be too sorry. If there is a bus coming, don't be, of course don't be rude, but don't expect everyone to be just giving you the way all the time.
So you mean people won't necessarily go out of their way to try to be helpful, right? And say, do you need help? Do you want to go here or whatever? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, on this level, not really. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. But if you really need help, like if you are really in trouble, people will help.
Okay.
People are very helpful. It's just on the surface, they're not that super polite. They're not that super friendly on the surface. However, if you really need something, if you really ask for help or they see that you need help, they will help you. And another thing is that if you actually make a friend with a Russian, they will be your real friend.
That's awesome. And also, of course, like one good question is obviously a lot of people traveling to Russia won't speak any Russian or very minimal Russian. I'm gonna assume that in a city like Moscow or St. Petersburg, there will be enough people to speak some English. But I'm guessing that in smaller cities, perhaps in a city like Sochi, which is more touristic, more people will speak English, how difficult will it be for them to find someone who does understand English, at least to get by and communicate?
It will be easier to find a person who understands English than to find a person who is comfortable enough to express that they understand English.
Okay, sounds good.
You will actually see a number of people who I know they understand English because we all learn it since we are like 7 years old. At
Okay.
school, we definitely understand something. But people feel very unconfident and shy sometimes.
Okay.
So they may just try to escape. I mean, unless you really need help,
Uh-huh.
they will try to understand whatever language you are speaking. But other than that, you would need to show people that you would be like acceptable of their English, of their accent and everything like that. So you should approach them very friendly and try to express to them in a way that maybe you would include couple words in Russian. It doesn't really matter if you don't speak Russian, but
Yeah.
you're trying to use Russian, they will feel the same. They will try their best to use English as well, right? And they won't be too shy because, come on, you are not afraid of speaking Russian in front of them, messing up. Okay, they won't be afraid to use English in front of you and mess up as well.
I love the Russian language, and I strongly recommend. I think that anyone should actually try to seriously learn Russian because it's a beautiful language. But if you just want to learn a few words, it's not as hard as it may seem. For example, like to say hello, привет. Learning like a few words is not that bad, and of course, like I highly recommend, like if you want to learn a new language, Russian does have its challenges. The Cyrillic alphabet is not as hard as it seems. Actually, initially it's just like, whoa, what is this? But it's not that bad. And but yeah, I strongly recommend try learning some Russian before going. And what you explained sounds to me, for example, like in a city like Paris, right? The first times I went, my French was very poor. Of course, like they would appreciate that when I try to use it anyway. Whenever someone just starts speaking English in Paris, they tend not to like that a lot, right? So I think like the same applies to Russia as well. If you can say a few words, that's preferable than just going over and like start speaking English and assuming that everyone does the same.
Yeah, I suggest that you just learn some basic phrases, just several of them, like "Здравствуйте" is like hello, "Извините, пожалуйста", like excuse me, right? Could you please help me? Помогите, пожалуйста. And then you can say, можно по-английски, пожалуйста? Can we speak English, please? And I'm
Можно
pretty
по-английски,
sure
пожалуйста?
no one will say no. Like even if their English at the level of "Hi, my name is," they will try their best to just express themselves in English, right?
So thank you so much. I really appreciated this. I think that we're gonna do parts 2 and 3 and like talk a little bit more about this awesome topic, which is like really Russian culture as well as like interactions and differences between cultures. And like in my humble opinion, Russians are just awesome people. They're really sweet, and they're warm people. So like I want to visit Russia soon. Hopefully this year. I want to go to St. Petersburg. But we'll see. So thank you so much again.
Thank you so much. I still have a lot to say, but another time, I guess.
Sounds
And
good.
like, muito
Yes.
obrigada.
Yeah,
Muchas gracias.
Can you say a few things in Portuguese to our...
Eu tenho muitos amigos brasileiros.
Muito bom.
Eu quero aprender português.
Você já fala português.
Deus te abençoe.
Deus te abençoe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mwah.